Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, I I think it's so funny what people like consider good and bad, and whatever you consider it, that's your opinion, and you can stick to it, and you can, go until you're blue into the face. But to think that they actually believe they can change my opinion just by saying something and not even following up with any actual reasoning why they think something's bad is it's kind of pitiful to me, and it's not so much like it's just disappointing. Like, I understand that people dislike things. I can dislike stuff, but if I dislike it, you're gonna know more reasons than one why I dislike it and why I would even go out of my way to tell you why I dislike it. So to hear someone just say, "Oh, it's bad," or "Oh, yeah, if you like it, you're dumb." Like, all right, you got me, nailed me. But this show, Lord, I have said it enough times where I think this is probably the last time I should need to say it. But with anything Fate Zero, I am in. So learning that our main character is still torn up about watching Gigamesh absolutely destroy him, and that he still kept a piece of his cape that he's always had since that same moment. He's been looking for pretty much a reason to be able to see Ryder. And from what I can tell by the video game I was playing, there's a chance he might actually get that. And I only say that because he's definitely, you know, capable of summoning him if he did get into the Holy War, which we actually learn a lot about his ambitions throughout this episode of where he's trying to go in the future, what he could be possibly getting out of all of this. And what he could be possibly getting is a chance to fight in the Holy War yet again, which seems more or less like the matter of he just wants to seek Ryder again. And not only that, I could only imagine what he would do if he won. I mean, this is a guy who's seen probably the most of the most recent and old like mythic stuff. Like, there's not too much things you can throw at him where he'd be like, I can't understand what he's doing. Like, I don't see him really getting thrown off by anything like that. So I think that's another reasoning why I feel he could almost win the Holy War. I mean, sure, he might run into Gigamesh again and then it's GG, but there's a chance he might not. um, but other than that, there's really weird instances of this show just giving me goosebumps of the senses of like them doing some weird Sherlock Holmes types of stuff throughout this universe. And I don't know why. It's very interesting to me in that grand scheme of just seeing somebody show up, do all the things that they possibly can, pretty much, like show us everything that is possible outside of the Holy War. And then after learning about it, I mean, we learned that there's people out there that literally can hunt spirits that are go awry with like some shotgun made magic bullets. So there's a lot of things out there that they could have been using in the Holy Wars in the last couple of years after the time skip that could make the Holy War just seem like a complete fiasco. Like, it could be 10 times different than Fate Zero, by just all the technology and all the actual advanced knowledge people have, even the low class people to the highest of high class people having certain ways of doing things. And not only that, we also learned that this man that we meet this week, who actually calls our guy for the case, has the eyes to see fairies. So fairies are also a thing in this show, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone could try to harness the power of a fairy into their own, right? So these are just things I'm coming up off the top of my head, but Fate Zero probably already has a place for all of this stuff. So it feels so good to be back in the Fate Zero world, and to think that the his quote unquote sister is like she has these eyes that get triggered whenever magic's around, and he kind of just put two and two together with something to doing with the eyes, which I got a feeling we might see a callback to another one of the servants, because the person we saw with those eyes, I don't think it was Castor. I think it was the assassin girl. But to know that there might be a chance for those types of people to show up, or or for those people to, for instance, what if someone wanted revenge on them and never really got the chance to get it? These are those moments that they can get those, oh wow, I can now get you because you have let your guard down, pretty much types of deal that I'm seeing. Um, but in the grand scheme of everything, I don't necessarily see this show giving us like ridiculous amount of action because of just how it goes. I mean, I think this was one of the first episodes that didn't end the case within just one foul swoop, like one episode solved it all. Um, Maybe there was another one, but I can't remember it right now. But to see this show kind of expanding just whatever they can and teaching us all that there is about, people who have magic, people who can pretty much become threats without servants and stuff like that. It just makes me want more of this type of stuff because it feels like some detective work, not only detective work, then you got the work of like the holy war in the background that could pop off at any second and turn this series into a completely different show. So I just think people are sleeping on the show, which is totally fine by me. Like, please sleep on and leave. Like, drop the show, drop everything about it, and us people who can enjoy or look forward to what they could show in the future of it will continue to enjoy it. I've talked to 3 to 6 people that, like they didn't understand what was really going on, but because of how the show was, playing the detective role and kind of giving us this, break the code or find the criminal types of deal. That was dope enough as it is, including adding it into the Fate slash Zero world where anything is possible. And then once you get to that impossible stuff that people think you can't do, that's when you actually find out you probably shouldn't have done it, because that impossible was the fact that once you do it, you get your body taken over or something crazy. And like we see in this week, Homeboy straight up got supposedly shocked by lightning, but for some reason, even necromancers can't reach his voice, which is very interesting in the case of like they can reach a lot of people, and then all of a sudden they can't reach the man who was really good at necromancy, which I feel like makes sense. Like, what if someone who knows necromancy know maybe or try to learn a way to not be, summoned upon by other necromancers? Like, you might have too much information that a beginner necromancer doesn't know, and if they just bring you back, oh, now I know everything you knew at your time period, and I made you write it down so I can learn it. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like necromancy would have, if you were a necromancer, you would have some type of way to protect yourself after death. And maybe that is what this lightning is doing. It doesn't want anybody showing up or getting in where they don't belong. And that's why the lightning started up after they kind of like got inside, because the sun is still someone he wants to protect, but because people showed up with them and they're dangerous to his cause. And like we see in the end of the week's episode, that the girl who's threatening this kid who is the sun, she just got struck by lightning at the end. So the thing that we saw with the fairy and the eyes and stuff, he said every time the fairy shows up, she pretty much gives me a warning, but I don't know what these warnings mean, so I can't act on them. and it seems like said warning was, hey, that one girl that's being a stupid, yeah, she's gonna get shocked. You should probably stop her from going outside. And he didn't know any of that, so shocky shock shock she gets. And GG. I don't know if she's dead, but I mean we can hope, right? Oh no, that's bad. But yeah, overall this show is super entertaining for me. I can't wait to see if there's going to be a really messed up twist of him actually trying to meet Ryder and maybe being betrayed at the end right when he gets close enough to doing so, because as it sounds like the young sister is having like meetings with people who seemingly are already in the Holy War, or at least know the most about the Holy War and when it's going to take place, probably recently in the clock tower or whatever. um and for her to know this and to keep it from him is clearly one of the bigger plots in the whole entire story. So that's the real thing I want to see play out. Why is she doing this? Why is she, having meetings with people that could potentially be her, like enemies and rivals and stuff? Why is she giving them even the time of day to, know any information about what she's going through or what she's, setting up and stuff like that? So very interested in what her overall gain is, but re- regardless, guys, just go out and enjoy stuff that you enjoy. And if you don't enjoy it, stop watching it, let it go, and move on. Like, I don't understand how hard that is for, like, that's like rocket science for people. If you dislike something, the last thing you should be talking about is it, because everything you dislike about it will then, start coming up in conversation because you are dumb enough to bring it up and talk about it, or you are not intelligent enough to stay away from it, and you just want to stay by it and talk all this unnecessary crap. So that's just how people are on the internet now, and it's actually super sad. Like it's the saddest thing I've seen. Like if you hate someone's channel, why are you the first one to comment on it every time? Or why are you the first one to dislike on it when all you had to do was not watch the channel anymore? Like people are so petty, it's disgusting. So regardless of that, if you could be a little less petty, you might find yourself enjoying things that you never really thought you could enjoy as much. So I know I did with certain things, and I was surprised and shocked. But that's for you to find out for yourself and to accept it, that you go out of your way to do these things for what reason. And if you actually have a good reason and you want to, express it, then cool. But if your expression is "this is dumb," then you really didn't need to even exist for that time being to say that. So that's just my opinion. Of course, you can say, "Oh, but if I talk and do this and that, it's really good for the whole community." Well, that's your opinion, buddy. Like, do you, pimp? So, with all that being said, even if I guess you hate shows, like I said, go and do whatever you want. Like, enjoy what you think you'll enjoy it. But if you hate something and you know you hate it, why? I don't like One Piece. Do you see me talking about One Piece? No. Okay? That's all I'm saying. If I don't like something, it won't show up, and that's how I defeat it. That's how I get past it. That's how I don't hear about it. But that's rocket science to people, so I'll start talking in normal uh, addition and subtraction. So have an awesome day, everybody. I hope you can enjoy what you want to enjoy without really worrying about anybody trying to put you down for it. Don't ever feel discouraged for liking something that truly makes you inspired to watch it more or to even talk about it to others. So, with that being said, I hope we can have a community here that we can talk about whatever and feel good about talking about it. So, that being said, have a good one. And yeah, I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you in the next one. Peace.